I'm Khyra Steiner, and you're listening to Elaborate with K. Elaborate with K. Hey guys, welcome back to Elaborate with K. So I feel like we need to address the elephant in the room. We're in a brand new space. Yeah, so this is kind of going to be the new podcast setup for the next little bit. Yeah, I don't know. So, let's get into it. So, as you all know, if you've listened to past episodes in the podcast, if you know me, I am a college student athlete. I run track at my university. And for those of you that don't know anything about track, our track season is actually in the spring. So what that means is that starting up in January, honestly, we're going to start competing, having track meets, and that's when my schedule gets a lot busier. And so, yes, one of my previous episodes was about time management. So if you want to hear about how I kind of balance doing track with also the podcast and school and everything, like go back and listen to that. But that episode got me thinking, and though I love the studio that I've been previously recording in, like I have no issues with it. It's an amazing space. It's really pretty. It's super, just like the host and everyone are super helpful. It's great. But with scheduling and having meets coming up and just knowing that track is going to be taking up a lot more of my time, with this being like my last season, my last year and everything, I felt like it was going to make more sense for me to kind of switch up the space. And so we are actually recording in my bedroom right now. I kind of like it. I feel like it's a lot more cozy. But yes, the main reason that I decided to do this was just for scheduling wise. I think it's a lot easier for me to kind of set up and record in my bedroom, other than like having to schedule a time to go into the studio and kind of balance that with my track meets and homework and applications and like everything that I have going on. So this is the setup for now. This isn't permanent, and the studio is definitely not going away completely. I think that I still want to use it for when I have guests come on, and just different conversations with other people. I think I still want to use the studio, but for the solo episodes where it's just me, chit-chatting, I think we're going to be here. So yeah, I feel like I like it. I think it gives a lot more of a cozy, comfortable little vibe, a lot more laid back. So yeah. So that's what this is. The second elephant in the room is, I know it's supposed to be wintertime, but I live in Southern California, and it's not feeling very fall wintry. Like it's still a little bit warm, at least the day that I'm recording this right now. So shorts and tank top it is. So that's the other elephant. And finally, our special guests. This is Sandy and this is Aurora, and yeah, they're just going to be sitting and chatting with us today. But to go along with the lines of having a new space, today's podcast episode theme is going to be on new beginnings. So I figured this was honestly a perfect time to do this episode one, because like I said, we are in a brand new space to something new, but also with it being the end of the year, New Year's is coming up and all of that, and me being in my senior year, going into my last semester, which is crazy. Yeah, I figured it would just be a good time to kind of talk about new beginnings and what's coming next, what's going to be in store. So yeah. Okay. So to go off of the topic of new beginnings, how are you guys all feeling about 2024 being over? I think it's crazy. Honestly, let me start there. The fact that it's about to be 2025 in just a couple of weeks is actually mind-blowing. And I think time is moving very, very fast. So specifically for me, I finished up my first semester of senior year. I'm on winter break right now. And that's kind of crazy. I feel like the weeks themselves were going by pretty slow. Like this is how time felt. And I've talked to like some of my friends about it as well. But the weeks themselves were going by pretty slow. Like, a week felt very long, but then at the end of it all, you're like, oh, it's already December. Like how did that happen? Where did the time go? Now I'm like, oh, I'm already halfway done with senior year. Like that's absolutely crazy. And so going on to the like new beginnings talk. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what 2025 and the new year has in store. And I am going to do an episode in a couple of weeks on just like reflecting on 2024 and, a whole like New Year's themed episode. But for new beginnings, I think that, if you have something that you want to do, a change that you want to make in your life. I know that especially around this time, a lot of people are like, oh, like I'm just gonna wait until the new year. It'll be like my New Year's resolution. I'll start it in January. I'll start it now. Blah blah blah. And I do like the mindset of just like having January 1st, January as like a tracker. However, I think I'm a very big believer in honestly like just go for it, do it, go for it. The difference between December 1st and January 1st is kind of the mindset. And like, yes, obviously it is like a completely different season and everything, but I think it is very much a mindset of like there is nothing really, really stopping you from starting December 1st. And I think that, you know, it's never too early or too late to kind of start fresh, start new. If you have something that you're doing, a project that you're working on, a hobby, whatever, and just the way that you're doing it isn't working, I think there's no issue with switching gears. And I think going back to this podcast, I was thinking about it and I was like, I've only been doing this for like 3 months at this point, right? And so I was like, oh, well, is that too soon for me to kind of switch up the location and switch studios or switch recording spaces? Because I listen to a lot of podcasts and I know a couple of them where they did switch studios, but they would switch after they've been doing it for like a year or a couple years and they've been a lot more just like a lot more time put into it. But I think that, it doesn't have to necessarily be like a whole big thing, a whole big adjustment, a big deal. This recording area, this recording space, setup, and everything, I think is what's going to work best for me, at least for this time period. And so in 6 months or a couple of months when I graduate, maybe the setup will be completely different. Like I have no clue what's going on or what's going to happen, but I'm excited. And I think that that's part of the process, a part of the journey of life is just starting new and, going on, trying new things, learning new things, doing new projects. And new beginnings, I think, comes with every aspect of life. So yes, obviously the biggest one is a new year, just a new calendar year, a completely different experience, or birthdays as well are a new beginning. But a new month, a new week can be a new beginning. And like I said, it doesn't have to be on a specific day. So like, yes, I feel like January 1st again is the dedicated, most ideal, like, okay, new beginning starting today, like, let's go. But what's stopping you from starting a new project on May 13th or on just like a random Wednesday in the middle of December? Like, there's kind of no rules. And I feel like, with this whole new beginnings thing, like, it's a part of life. Um, but yeah, so for the future of this podcast, I'm very excited to see what is in store for both the next few weeks for the rest of the year, and next year in 2025. Like I said, this new space, I feel like when I started the podcast, I really wanted it to be a very comfortable, welcoming like space and platform for me. I know, like I mentioned, I like listening to a lot of lifestyle podcasts and they range, like some of them do record in a studio and some of them record like in their houses, in their living room. I've listened to a podcast where she records in her car and like that, so wherever she is, she can like stop and record an episode. I've listened to podcasts where they switch and they're in a completely different space or studio every episode. And I think that I also had to think about that because a lot of, trying to build up this podcast and trying to like make sure that I am doing the right things and like taking all of the steps to kind of grow and get it out to as many people as possible, because this is something that I feel like I wanted when I was younger, and even now. And so just wanting to, reach the maximum number of people that I feel like could benefit from this, that might want to hear stories and just the point of view of someone that's living a life similar to theirs. But I also had to stop and think about it because I feel like the podcast started as a way for you to listen. And obviously, I myself am guilty. I love watching podcasts and just having them on TV while I'm cleaning or doing laundry or whatever it is I'm doing. Like, yes, it is very, very fun to watch the videos. And I know that a lot of you guys do watch them as well. So thank you for that. But I think, the main part of a podcast, similar with music, like, yes, there's music videos, but the whole point of them is the audio and what is being said and like the words that are being expressed. And yes, I'm in a new space, I'm in a new room. But I think the content of this podcast isn't going to change, and whether I'm in my bedroom or in a studio or whether I'm outside on the balcony or in Hawaii or wherever it is, like, I am still the same person with my experiences and my life and my stories to tell and my advice and all of that. So the actual content of this podcast isn't going to change. It's just going to look a little different, but I'm very excited for this new journey, this new chapter of what's in store for Elaborate with K. I'm super excited to take you guys on the journey. I hope that you are excited about the space, new content. I'm very excited. I think I have a lot of really fun topics and ideas coming up, a couple of festive themes for sure. So there is going to be like a Christmas wish list and a New Year's reflection episode as well, which I'm very excited about. But yeah, so let me know any content ideas you would like to see, any guests, comment them down below on YouTube, or I know Spotify also has comments, so comment them down below, like email me and let me know what type of content you would like to see. If you have any guest suggestions, any games, anything that you want to hear, because as much as I love, just chit-chatting and coming up with topics myself, and I think I'm going off topics that I would have wanted to hear from podcasts just in my own listening personal experience. But this podcast is also for all of you that are out there listening and watching, and I want to make sure that you are getting the experience and everything that you want to get out of it as well. So I definitely want to hear what you guys would like to see, would like to listen to. Let me know. And yes, I hope that you are having an amazing, wonderful beginning of December, beginning of the winter season. For those of you that are finishing up schools and finals and all of that, good luck. I hope that you pass all of your exams, that everything goes well, and that you get to spend some time spending the holidays with your family, friends, people that you care about, people that care about you. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll talk to you next Sunday. Bye! And yeah, talk to you next Sunday.